Hey guys, Scott here. For this video, I'm going to go through my Wii collection. The Wii, out of the current generation consoles, the Wii is probably my least favorite. Like, there's a lot of shovelware on the system. I'm not a huge fan of motion controls. It was cool at first, but then it kind of, I don't know, wore out its welcome. I mean, there's still a lot of good games on the system that use it well, but overall, I'm not really a fan. But anyways, to keep this video under the time limit, I'll just go straight into the collection. First game we have is Arcrise Fantasia. Like a few games for the Wii and actually quite a lot on my other systems, I haven't played this yet. You know, it's an RPG, it's long, and there's quite a few other games I'd like to get to first. I've heard this is pretty underrated though, but it has bad voice acting from what I've also heard, which that usually doesn't bother me in a game. In fact, I find it quite funny a lot of the time, so I'm actually looking forward to playing this eventually. Then we have Blox. Now this is just what I like to see on the Wii. You know, it's got motion controls that work great. It's a nice physics-based game. It's a whole lot of fun, too, with other people. Dokapon Kingdom. Now this is a strange game. It's basically a board game and an RPG combined. The RPG elements, they're not too fleshed out, and the board game itself is kind of dull. It's basically, a lot of this game is basically screwing over other players, so it can be fun, but usually a game in this takes way too long that if you have friends over, they'll get bored before the game's even over, so it's kind of a shame. I think this game could have been done a lot better, I think. Then we have Dragon Quest Swords. This is a little too basic for my tastes. The storyline just wasn't interesting me very much, and the gameplay, the motion control based gameplay, just didn't work for me. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Like a lot of games in this series, I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'd like to play the GameCube one first, because I know this is a sequel to that. Fragile Dreams, which I know a lot of people like this one. I couldn't get into it. I don't know, I just found myself real bored a couple hours in and I just put it down. But if I'm missing something, tell me. Then we have Goldeneye 007. This is the box set with the golden controller. This game I wasn't a huge fan of. Like motion controls for first-person shooters, like the Wii controller, for first-person shooters, I don't know, I'm not a fan of it. I much prefer analog control on the 360 and the PS3, so... And overall, I just thought this game was just dull. Guilty Gear XX Core Accent Plus, I think this is called. I don't know, weird name on this one. I've never played a Guilty Gear game before, and I haven't played this one yet either. I'll get around to it sometime, because I know fighting games, you know, you can just pop them in, play them for about 15 minutes, and then be done with it. But, yeah, I haven't gotten around to this one yet. Kirby's Epic Yarn. Amazing visuals in this game. Not too big on the gameplay. I much prefer a traditional Kirby experience as opposed to this one. Like, this is a very puzzle-based platformer, but still pretty enjoyable. Monster Hunter 3. Now this is one of my favorite games for the system. I've put in over 200 hours into this game. The single player isn't that good. It's basically a massive tutorial for the multiplayer mode where you get 4 people together hunting down monsters, gathering materials, making weapons, making armor. Once you get into this game, and it takes a while to get into because the combat has got quite a learning curve, but once you do get into this, very addictive. Next we have The Last Story. This is still sealed. I haven't played this yet. It just came out not too long ago, but I'm definitely going to be getting around to this soon because I've heard this is a fantastic game and it definitely looks great. We've got The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. This is a fantastic game. I still have a couple problems with it. At the ending of the game, it gets way too padded, I think, and you revisit the areas a little too frequently for my tastes, but I mean the dungeons, the bosses, the storyline, the music, overall this game's got a lot going for it. Little King's Story, haven't played it yet. I've heard it's like Pikmin. It looks really fun, just haven't got around to it yet. Mad World, not a fan of this game. It's fun at first, but this game gets repetitive real fast. I'm talking like 30 minutes of doing the same thing over and over, just torturing enemies, you know, killing them in really graphic ways. I don't know, it just gets a bit too old for me. Mario Party 8. Now, I actually really like the Mario Party games. They get a lot of hate, but I think they're, you know, if you can get friends together, I think they're a lot of fun. Metal Slug Anthology, 7 games on 1 disc, a lot of value. All of the games are fun, really fun in 2-player mode. Metroid Other M, this game sucks. You know, like it's gotten a lot of hate and it's pretty well deserved for the most part. The gameplay is kind of interesting, but I mean the storyline, you know, what they did with the character of Samus, I think is just atrocious. You know, you can't get your power-ups unless you're told by a guy that you're able to use them. It's just, I don't know, a lot of things this game did I was not a fan of. Massimo, the Demon Blade, just a gorgeous looking game, you know, a 2D side-scroller RPG. Never did finish it. I actually got stuck at a boss, believe it or not, but this is still a really fun game. Knight's Journey of Dreams, haven't played this one yet. No More Heroes, definitely one of the better games on the Wii. Just, you know, just really zany, just a really, I don't know, really cool storyline. An awesome main character. Travis Touchdown is just awesome. Really creative bosses. I don't know, I really enjoyed this game. No More Heroes 2. Surprisingly enough, I didn't actually like this game. I thought they made the combat way too button mashy this time around. It was still creative. I mean, you know, it was still a hilarious game, and Travis Touchdown is still awesome, but I don't know, the combat this time around just didn't do it for me. Rhythm Heaven Fever. I don't know how well this game sold. I don't think it actually did that well, which is a shame, because this game is fantastic. If you have any kind of interest in rhythm games, you must get this game. You know, a lot of people say it's difficult. I didn't find it that difficult. It maybe has a tad high of a learning curve, but I mean, the activity, you know, the mini games in this, because it is essentially a mini game compilation, but I don't know, they're so funny, they're so fun. There's a lot of content in here too. It's just so fun to go for the, you know, to go for the high rankings, and I don't know, everything about this game I love. You just a phenomenal game. Rune Factory Tides of Destiny, still sealed, so obviously I haven't played it yet. Sakura Wars. This game looks really interesting. This is probably going to be one of the games I play coming up soon. I've been looking for this game for ages. In my area, it's almost impossible to find Wii games like this, you know, the few RPGs that there are on the system, but this looks really cool. I think it's a strategy RPG, so I'm definitely going to be getting around to this soon. Shiren the Wanderer, a roguelike RPG. Haven't played it yet. In fact, haven't played too many roguelike RPGs. I've played Etrian Odyssey 3 on the DS. Didn't really get into that one, but maybe it will be different for this. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. A really solid Silent Hill game where you don't just shoot and kill the enemies, you gotta run away from them. Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. You know, a lot of people were disappointed with this, and as a Tales fan, I got to admit I was too. The storyline really isn't anything special. Emil, the main character, is really, really annoying. I mean, the battle system's still here, and it's still a lot of fun, but they focused a bit too much on monster raising elements in this game. And I don't know, overall the game just felt it lacked polish, and you could definitely tell it was a budget game. Warioware Smooth Moves. I'm a huge fan of the Warioware series, and this is definitely one of the better ones. If you can get some friends to play with this with you, it's just a total blast. And finally, rounding off the collection, we've got Xenoblade Chronicles, a PAL version, and a sealed North American version. Now, the story with this, back before this game was even announced to be coming out in North America, I knew I had to have it. I knew I had to play it. The hype was just too much. The game just looked too good. So I went and hacked my Wii, got, a memory card, bought the game from Europe, played it for near 30 hours, just to find out that my memory card got corrupted. And I couldn't find a way to fix it unless I had to buy a new one, and basically I just put the game down from there. And eventually it did come out in North America, and I bought it and haven't played it since. But from 30 hours that I have played it, I really like it. I think the story and characters are a bit bland. I don't know, I don't think they're that interesting, but the game world is just massive and really interesting. So many different NPCs to talk to, so many different side quests. The battle system is a bit MMO-ish, but overall it's still fun. Okay guys, that's the Wii collection. Obviously I'm still missing a lot of titles. There's still tons of games I want to get. A big one is Donkey Kong Country Returns. I'm a huge fan of the Super Nintendo games, so there's really no reason for me not to have that. There's Phantom Brave on the system I want. There's still quite a few RPGs. Yeah, the Wii, it gets a lot of hate, but I think there's a lot of good games on it. The motion controls aren't really to my liking, and I find a lot of the best games don't use them at all, but, the Wii is still a system that I think if you're a gamer, you gotta have it. And there's definitely a lot to look for on the system. So thanks for watching, guys, and recommend me any games. If you know any games that I didn't have in my collection that you think I'd like, I'm super into RPGs. Mention any RPGs. Maybe there's some RPGs I don't know about. What are your favorite Wii games? Send video response, comment. But yeah, thanks for watching.